Hello, welcome back to chapter 20 of The Way of the Superior Man. This chapter is a little bit longer, so bear with me. This may be a bit of a longer video. Chapter 20. Don't suggest that a woman fix her own emotional problem. Asking a woman to analyze or try to fix her own emotions is a negation of her feminine core, which is pure energy in motion, like the ocean. She can learn to surrender her mood to God. She can learn to open her heart in the midst of closure. She can learn to relax her edges and trust love. But she will never fix anything by analyzing her problem. And I really like this because it's easy, to say your emotions are a problem, you should fix it. But you should only really do that, even though it may be natural for the masculine to suggest that. You should really only do that if you want your woman to be in her masculine. Because fixing problems, problem solving is the domain of the masculine. And when we force the feminine into problem solving mode, she goes into her masculine, which is necessary sometimes. But in an intimacy where we want sexual polarity and chemistry, that will kill the vibe. You guys will feel more like bros or colleagues than, a masculine, feminine in the dance of intimacy. As a man, you can learn a lot about yourself by clearly analyzing your problems. One of the best ways for you to grow is to use your discrimination, feeling what is causing unnecessary pain in your life, and then changing whatever you need to change. You may notice, for instance, that you are unhappy with your job. You think about it. You realize it is because your boss is taking advantage of you, and you haven't said anything to him. So you determine that the best way to deal with the problem is to walk up to the boss and say something. You get up the guts, you walk up to the boss, you get it off your chest, and it's over. Problem fixed. Finished. You learned how important it is to talk to your boss, and you've cleared up all the old stuff that has been burdening you. This is a very masculine approach. Right? The masculine is associated with completion, finishing something, feeling empty and free after. Right? The feminine is the opposite. It's never ending. It's about cycles. It's about ebbs and flows, peaks and valleys. It's this never ending push and pull. Um, and it's difficult for either side to understand the other. And that's why I really love this section of The Way of the Superior Man, because he kind of brings the two together and how the two can harmonize and serve each other. And this is a gift that the masculine gives to the feminine, right? It's his clarity, his problem solving. And for any problem, it's wonderful, except, when the problem is her emotions. You probably apply the same system to your intimacy. You realize that you're not happy about something your wife is doing. Maybe you talk about it with your friends or think about it yourself. You realize that your wife isn't caring for you like she used to. So you determine that you'll be happier if your wife cooks more and massages you more. You then think maybe your wife wants you to do something more for her. So you tell her what you want from her, and then you ask her, "What do you want from me?" You tell her to think about it and let you know. Right? It's like, this works for me, so it must work for my intimate partner. But the thing is, the masculine and feminine are opposite. We can't project what works for us onto the other person. In fact, it's probably the opposite of what works for us that works for them. And, asking the feminine, "What do you want to do?" is actually an intimacy killing question, right? As a man, you might think, I'm giving her the freedom to pick, like, this is awesome for her. But actually, she hates it. Or at least I know, um, when I'm on a date with a guy, I want to be in my feminine. And when he asks me what I want to do, he's asking me to take direction and take charge, and I have to be in my masculine. Then it doesn't feel as intimate or have as much chemistry because I'm polarized into my masculine. And it's no longer the feminine allowed to flow in her deepest bliss. This seems fair to a man, but it is not. It is a no-win situation for your woman. Why? Because what she really wants is a man who can figure it out for himself. She wants a man who loves her and escorts her with his loving, without having to ask her what she wants all the time. And the feminine is all about surrender, the masculine is all about direction. So, what she truly wants is a trustable man that sets direction from which she can flow. And then when she flows somewhere that she doesn't like, for example, she responds, and then he is responsive to her heart while knowing full well what his mission is. He takes her in as feedback and then adjusts course if he feels like it serves his mission. So what she really wants is kind of the man to penetrate her heart with his love, feel her entirely, and then choose a direction. This is a bit of a dance because when two people first meet, they don't know each other's nuances, they don't know each other's emotional responses and triggers and their past conditioning. So it takes a little bit of push and pull. He'll try to do something that he thinks that she'll like, and then she'll like respond and be like, no. But then over time, he'll understand her more and more, and then it almost becomes this wordless play between the two of them. And he can feel her and suggest for her what to do and guide her into a direction, and she can relax and or respond if something doesn't feel right. One of the deepest feminine desires in intimacy is precisely not to have to always figure it out for her man and guide him. She wants to be able to trust him in his direction. There are some times when she does want to figure it out for you, but far more often she feels your gift when you offer her a direction in your intimacy without her having to ask you for it or tell you what she wants. Right? That is the feminine bliss. For a man to feel her and just guide her. And that's the important thing, right? That's how it's controversial in today's society. You think, oh, feminism, right? The woman decides, the woman, wears the pants and does everything. And that's very second stage. Like it's good, but it's not the ultimate feminine bliss. And the difference between kind of the first stage macho man telling her what to do all the time and the third stage man guiding her in his direction is the difference is him feeling her heart, right? In the first stage, he's very self-centered, my way or the highway. And in the third stage, he's feeling the heart, not just of her, but of all beings. And what he's doing is acting to serve his purpose, serve the world the most that he can in this lifetime. And he's feeling every heart, but especially his woman's heart, and guiding her to open her more. Right? There's a higher purpose behind that direction. Suppose it's your woman's birthday. If it were your birthday, you'd love it if your woman would do anything you wanted. So you think she'd like that too. You say to her, "Happy birthday. For your birthday, we can do anything you want. We can go anywhere and do anything, and I'll do anything for you. What do you want to do?" um, and it just reminds me of the analogy where woman, feminine, is like the river, the water. It's flowing. And the masculine is the river bank. It's the container for the feminine, guides her. The river shapes the river bank just as the river bank guides the river. And the feminine bliss is just to relax, let the energy flow, not have to think, not have to plan. So this question, what do you want to do, puts her in her thinking, puts her into her masculine, and doesn't put her in her deepest feminine bliss. This is exactly the opposite of most women's idea of an ideal birthday present. Most women would get far more excited if you were to say, "You've got 30 minutes to pack your bags. Don't ask me where we're going, but we'll be gone for the weekend. Everything is taken care of. Just pack your bags and leave the rest to me. I'm going to give you the best birthday you've ever had." Like, even just reading this paragraph, I can feel my body like being excited and happy. It's like, yes, like that's so much better than, what do you want to do? Right? I just get to relax and enjoy and have everything taken care of, and I can just feel the core of being, not have to go into my thinking logical brain. Just let me see any notes here. Okay. One of the deepest feminine desires in intimacy, though not in business or simple friendship, is to be able to relax and surrender, knowing that her man is taking care of everything. Then she can simply enjoy without having to plan it all herself and tell her man what to do. She can be pure energy, pure motion, pure love, without having to analyze all the options and decide which ones are best. She can enjoy her man taking responsibility for the direction, so she can be what the feminine is, pure energy. Right? It's like telling her man what to do. It's like women don't actually want to do that. And it's not so much they want to be told what to do, but they just want to be able just to go relax into their core, which is the flow of energy. And then the masculine provides that riverbank to guide that flow of energy. So they work together. And you might say, oh, my woman really likes telling me what to do. Like, this is not her at all. And there are some women whose natural core is masculine. Data says it's around 10 to 20% of the population. But the majority of women, especially in today's modern society, while they have that inner feminine core, they have an outer masculine shell. They have conditioned to be in their masculine, even though deep down they yearn for that trustable man to guide them. They have this conditioning, this shell, this masculine shell there. So they're just so used to it because, say, women are very successful these days. She's a CEO in the boardroom, right? Every day she's used to giving direction, giving orders. At home, that's her habit. She's going to do that. But, you know, it might work. It might work, she can run the household very well, but is she able to relax and surrender in intimacy and feel the love and share the love that's truly in her heart? That's a little bit trickier, and that's why I really like Deida, because he works with men and women. So for women kind of very into their masculine but have that feminine core, his book Dear Lover is really helpful to reconnect with that feminine essence. And that's a book I've read maybe 5 or 6 times and probably will be reading again in the near future, because every time I read it I get gems of wisdom. Like the ocean, the native state of the feminine is to flow with great power and no single direction. The masculine builds canals, dams, and boats to unite with the power of the feminine ocean and go from point A to point B. But the feminine moves in many directions at once. The masculine chooses a single goal and moves in that direction. Like a ship cutting through a vast ocean, the masculine decides on a course and navigates the direction. The feminine energy itself is undirected but immense, like the wind and deep currents of the ocean, ever changing, beautiful, destructive, and the source of life. They they need each other, right? There's that push and pull, that polarity. It's beautiful together. I mean, of course, we can be independent, loving humans separately, but when we come together, it's the synergy. Um, and this reminds me of the example, kind of like how women are multitaskers and men are single taskers. So, men on the way to the fridge, uh, there'll be like socks on the floor, things, dirty table or something. They'll just keep walking. They don't see any of it because they're very single focused. They know what their goal is, and then everything else isn't really there. But the feminine is a multitasker. She might want to go to the fridge to get something, but she gets distracted. It's like, oh, the phone's ringing. Oh, there's a sock on the floor. Oh, I gotta wipe this table. It might take her, a couple hours before she goes to the fridge. Um, and these differences can be frustrating to either party, because it's like, why didn't you pick up the sock off the floor? But But their differences is also what makes the partnership so powerful, because our strengths are the other person's weaknesses and vice versa. The same principle applies to problems in intimacy. Anytime you try to force your woman to be more like a ship than an ocean, you are negating her feminine energy. Anytime you talk to her and expect her to analyze her mood and situation to the point of being able to fix it, you are talking masculine with her. She can do it. She might even be better at it than you, but it won't make her a happy woman. And it's interesting because I actually do this to myself, right? Because in all of us, we have a masculine and a feminine side. And my masculine side, which I like to call Steve, uh, loves to analyze, loves to journal, very strong at analysis. I used to work as an analyst, actually. So I'd be analyzing my emotions all the time. So Steve will be analyzing stuff. It's like, why did you do this? Why did you feel this way? Try to solve the problem. How can I be happy all the time? But actually turning out those problems, writing it, trying to find all the reasons, gave me more stress than joy. And so when I read this paragraph, I really liked it because, like, yeah, I wasn't bad at it, but it didn't necessarily make me happier. A happy woman is a woman relaxed in her body and heart, powerful, unpredictable, deep, potentially wild and destructive, or calm and serene, but always full of life, surrendered to and moved by the great force of her oceanic heart. When you ask her to analyze her heart's emotions, it's like building walls around a part of the ocean and turning it into a swimming pool. It's safer and more predictable, but far less alive and enlivening. Most men have made their woman into swimming pools by continually treating them like men, talking with them about their feelings as if they can be analyzed to the point of fixing them. And yeah, this is very unfortunate, right? Because by reducing feelings to mere logic and words, you're negating the power. Feelings, they can't. Maybe a very small percentage of it could be articulated with words, but the feeling itself, the wisdom and the intuition in those emotions that come up, you cannot just have it limited. And it's like the difference between an ocean and a swimming pool. So that's a very beautiful paragraph. Don't waste your time doing this, but especially don't expect your woman to do it to herself. It would be like forcing you, a man, to read romance novels or watch love stories at the movie. Sure, you could do it, but it probably doesn't touch your core the way it touches hers. And if she made you do it over and over and over, you would begin to resent her. If she felt that the basic problem in your life is that you just don't watch enough soap opera on TV, you would think she's crazy. And let me see here. Yes, just kind of going back here, right? Analyzing her heart's emotions. I remember I used to do that with journaling with Steve, and just kind of end up in the same circles again and again, being stressful, trying to encapsulate the depth of my feeling, to a few sentences. But there are times instead when I connect with the whole ocean and just truly feel everything, and that actually makes the emotions, I can receive the message, the wisdom of the emotions, and then I can let it go, and then I can just go back and just it's released, and then I can be that relaxed in body and heart again. Soap operas, romance novels, and love stories touch many women deeply because the feminine priority is the flow of love in relationship, but the masculine priority is purpose and direction. By analyzing your purpose and realigning your direction, you can solve many of your emotional problems. But love is the feminine priority, not purpose and direction. Right? So a lot of times when a man is upset, It's because he feels off from his purpose. He feels like not aligned with what his direction is. So once he analyzes it and realigns himself, he feels good again. Once he's making progress on his purpose, like that's a man on fire. He's feeling good. But it's not the same case for the feminine. The feminine's emotions usually revolve around the flow of love in a relationship, or just the flow of love in her heart. If she's feeling love, generally she'll be feeling pretty good. If she's not feeling love, watch out. Yeah, she's gonna be not feeling good, not gonna be grumpy, gonna be attacking, aggressive, or however it manifests in hers. Um, and it's interesting here with the soap operas, romance novels, and love stories because my core is feminine because I love love stories. And it's just magnetic. It pulls me, right? Whereas, in my partners I've dated in the past, they love sports, war movies. They love, having this mission to accomplish. They like watching movies on that. Whereas I just can't understand, how can someone scream at a TV from a sports, just a sports game. But that's because, mission is what a man's emotions is attached to. Whereas for me, I can, every love story I read, I will, or watch, I will cry. Right? The feminine's emotions are moved by love. Women do not become free by analyzing themselves. They become free by surrendering into love. Not your love, their love. They become free by surrendering to the immense flow of love that is native to their core and allowing their lives to be moved by this force in their heart. It may involve moments of analysis, but primarily it involves deep trust. So I really like this because we think freedom for the masculine, freedom comes when the problem is fixed. Problem solved, I'm free from it. But that's not the case for the feminine. And that can be a little bit tricky to wrap our heads around. Our freedom comes from love. Kind of give you an example, or at least this is how I interpret it. This is how it happened in my own personal experience. True freedom for me is when I feel this extreme abundance of love that no matter what someone says or does to me, I can still be loving and feel full of love. And that way, like nothing can hurt me because my emotions usually are driven by how loved I feel. So when I have this abundance of love, when I'm connected to my core, because the core of the feminine is love, when I'm connected to my core, I can feel this abundance. I can feel that I am the source of love that is indestructible. And that's what gives me freedom because it doesn't matter what anyone else says or does. Like I already have everything that I'm seeking, and then I can now live my life just trying to give my gift the best that I can. So the best way you can serve your woman is by helping her to surrender, to trust the force of love, so that she can open her heart, be the love that she is, and give this love which naturally overflows from her happiness. This does not involve analyzing the blocks to her loving. Analyzing blocks is a man's way. Men love to analyze blocks on the football field, on the chessboard, in the stock market, and even in their intimate life. But it's important that you, as a man, don't project your way of doing things onto your woman. Right? So, for example, when I was journaling with Steve, I'll be in the same small swimming pool over and over again. Why do I feel this way? What can I do about it? But in actuality, right, once I learned to, when I'm feeling, that emotional block, just to let go, um, breathe deep, let go of my thinking mind, right? That was a really big shift for me. Instead of going from thinking and analysis, which is actually painful to the feminine, just go into feeling, right? Let go of thoughts, just feel everything in the moment, in the present moment. remember that, you are already completely loved by the divine or the source or the universe or whatever word you prefer, then I naturally relax. And when I relax, I can connect deeper to that intuition, that inner wisdom that will naturally guide my actions with more discernment. So it's interesting. Right? If I analyze myself to try to fix the problem, it makes the problem worse. What I have to do is to let go of my thinking mind or my masculine side and really just go into the flow of feeling. And when I kind of dissolve and let go into that, then the problem resolves itself. Um, and so that's why this next paragraph is really important, because it tells the masculine how he can support her woman into connecting with that love, her innate core of love. So what it says here is, let her be the ocean. Encourage her to be as free as the ocean, as deep as the ocean, as wild as the ocean, and as powerful as the ocean. Be so full in your loving, so strong and stable in your presence that she can just let go and surrender the limits she has put on her feelings. Let the emotions of her heart flow unguarded. Let her love be expressed with no limits. Let her go mad with love. This is so powerful. I love this so much because I've dated so many people in the past that could not handle when I cried. And I cry a lot. And when I cry, they panic. They're like, "Oh my God!" Like, they stop crying, and that is very painful for the feminine because our emotions are just who we are, right? But instead, if I had a man that's just like, let it go, just like be you, just let your emotions go, and he'd be there to support me while I'm releasing my emotions in that way, that's so powerful. I will feel so loved if that happens. And so I really love that David Deida put this paragraph in because he knows what the feminine wants, and it's very beautiful here. Love has its own intelligence. Honor love's intelligence by realizing that analysis is not usually necessary to serve your woman's openness. Love your woman with your whole body, perhaps pressing her against the wall with your belly and chest, pressing your love into her, breathing with her so that she relaxes her tension and surrenders to the love in her heart, and let her relaxation and surrender liberate the wisdom inherent in her loving. You have much to gain from the depths of her feminine gifts. And she has much to gain from the penetration of your love and the clarity of your direction. It's the synergy of the two polarities. And I really like this because Data's not telling you to, ask her questions, use words. It's the feelings, the feminine, that's the world of feelings. Words only scratch the surface. Use your body, use your eyes, right? Love your woman with your whole body. Press your love into her. Breathe with her. So that if you're relaxed, right, she will, what's that word? Attune to your frequency. Yeah, this chapter might seem a little bit similar to last week's chapter. I don't analyze your woman, but there is a lot in this chapter, and the biggest one, I think, the takeaway here is that not to ask your woman, what do you want me to do, or like, what do you want? That is a very depolarizing question. Her if she has a masculine shell, it may be scary to just to tell her what to do, but as long as you're feeling her heart and responsive to her, because maybe you will say something and she might respond like it's like, okay, maybe she doesn't want, say you suggest Italian food, she's like, okay, maybe she doesn't want Italian food, so you're trying to feel into her and suggest something that will serve to open her while not deviating from your purpose. And I think, though, that's a chapter for another time, where it talks about you can take her emotional feedback as intel, but it doesn't. You don't change your direction necessarily to whatever she wants. And And yeah, so takeaway is don't ask your woman, what do you want to do? Right? Try to feel into her heart, suggest what you think would open her the most, guide her, but be responsive to her reactions as well. And it becomes this dance, and eventually it'll be a lot smoother. It might be difficult in the beginning, but it will get smoother. So thanks for watching. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them down below, and have a good day.